Yo, guys, welcome back to the Blue Podcast with me, Tom, and Ben. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, thanks.
And so today, I don't know if any of our Twitter followers have noticed, but lately we've been doing a lot of Twitter polls, and we thought we'd do a podcast on the results of those Twitter polls and what we think personally. And this might become a bit of a series, mightn't it, Ben?
It might do.
Yeah, because I mean, me and Ben have actually had a bit of fun creating these polls, actually, because
Yeah,
gets Ben involved as well.
Yeah, it gets the creativity going. Gets you thinking. It's quite funny.
Yeah, and we've had a wide variety of the amount of people voting. We've had as low as 11, but our latest one up to 71 votes. So it's a wide variety of voters. Make sure you.
What was the latest one?
We'll find out.
I don't even know if I voted on that one.
You must have done.
We've got a gander at it. Anyway, carry on.
But yeah, do make sure you check us out, obviously, at the Blue Podcast One on Twitter to make sure you're involved in these Twitter polls and your opinion is out there. I also want to give a quick shout out to people who also commented on these Twitter polls. We've got at MCFC Samo4, we got at Chelsea FC Sky, we've got at Andrew McLeave7, my dad, and we got Yank Talking Smack Conor. And we've also got at Football for You. Thank you for commenting. Obviously, if you comment on our Twitter polls, there will also be these comments will also be spoken about on the podcast. So make sure you get involved. And what other stuff do I normally say before the start of our podcast? Check out our Twitter at the Blue Podcast One. Check out our TikTok at the Blue Podcast. Check out our merch. Speaking of, here's our brand new pint glass, looking very nice. If you do read the description of that item, there's a little challenge for everyone to get involved with to do with our Instagram, which I will be starting tonight. Actually, I'll be the first. I'll be the first person to start the little challenge. That will be hopefully a bit of fun for us. I forgot anything, Ben?
No, I mean people are probably like fast forwarded past this bit to get to the actual podcast, so
the Red, White, Blue show's back tomorrow.
That's
the main one. Anyway, let's kick it off with, I guess, our first poll, which had 24 votes. It was, is the FIA corrupt? Is it corrupt, Ben?
Yep.
Yeah. I believe so.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think this tweet was quite fresh after the F1 final race in Abu Dhabi when Hamilton was, cheated of his. Me and Ben had 3 podcasts in a row about it.
He was stiffed a little bit, wasn't he? But I mean, I'm not even just a little bit, but he's gotta. I mean, I've said this to Kieran. Kieran. One of his. He's like a friend of his cousin's, but like also Kieran's mate as well, called Lewis. Wanted Verstappen to win, and Lewis is a really sound lad. And I was saying to him, I was like, I said, what do you think about what happened? And he was like, it was lovely. Didn't care. I was like, right, yeah. No, I mean, obviously, if you're a Verstappen fan, like you don't give a toss, do you? But like, and I was like. Well, sorry.
Morally, though, you should think.
Oh, morally, but like a lot of them, like the morals go out the window, don't they? If you've won it, like and like finally someone else other than Hamilton won it, and finally someone was challenged, like whatever, like the sporting integrity and rules weren't followed. But I was saying to him, it might not happen. It might not happen because I'm not planning like following F1 like intensely next season because of what happened. I'll probably drop in and out, whatever. But I was like, it might not happen, but I am here, ready and waiting. I'm being patient for Verstappen to lose a title fight, and if he loses a title fight, I'm ready. I'm here to laugh.
The podcasts will be coming quick and fast.
Yeah, exactly. But it might not happen. But I'm here and waiting. I'm ready. I'm patient. I'm patient.
He's very patient. Well, what do you think the public voted? Yes or no, Ben?
If I remember rightly, I think it was. I mean, there was a few more no's than we thought, but I think it was mostly wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 83% yes, 17% no. So
Yeah.
quite a large majority of people thinking the FIA is corrupt.
It's
And after following,
still more no's than we thought they were going to be, though.
yeah, I mean, it must be Verstappen fans.
Yeah, even with that majority, like it's still. I'm not sure.
Up next, following the same vein.
You were saying something about a comment then, weren't you?
Oh no, there's no comment there. No comment.
Oh right, sorry.
I was saying, following in the same vein, with 46 votes, we've got will Lewis Hamilton retire? Yes or no? And this is a much closer affair on the poll here.
Mm.
What do you think, mate?
I think. I mean, I said no, purely based on the fact that he's a sportsman and he's gonna want to get the 8th title. I mean, but I think no probably won just. But I mean, I don't think anyone would blame him if he didn't carry on. But I think it has come out recently that he has confirmed to Mercedes that he is going to honour the rest of his 2-year contract that he signed. So but I mean, so he said that to them, but also he's the total social media blackout. He's not bothering with any of that at the moment. And I don't think he will. Maybe not even at the start of next season. He might not bother until later next season with that stuff, because he's not tweeted, since said incident, and he's unfollowed everyone. Total social media blackout, and I think that's fair enough. He's concentrating on sort of getting his head right, because his head's going to be all over the shop. Concentrating sort of getting himself prepared for next season, because it's very difficult when you lose in such circumstances. Which I don't even know if you can call it a loss, really. But obviously, legally, it's a loss. But so he's he'll be going. He's concentrating purely on the sporting side of it. He's binning off all that social media stuff for now, anyway. And the other thing that I was saying to Lewis, I was like, he's not going to care next season. He's just not going to care. He will go for everything. And Lewis was like, yeah, he's just going to T-bone someone. He won't give a toss. Like, if he just, he's going to be the strings will be off. Like, all
100%.
For a better word, I've forgotten what the saying is, but he just will not. If he's going for a gap, he'll go for it. Give Verstappen a taste of his own medicine, basically, which he sort of did a little bit last season from time to time. But obviously, in the title fight, he was the one who needed to finish last season. But with him being sort of the said challenger, well, not even a challenger, but like he's the one who's sort of wanting to topple him, he will just go for everything next season.
Yeah, which is I think a lot. I mean, I personally would hope so.
Yeah.
Makes it interesting, but
with him being sort of the chasing pack, should we say, even though he's not really. He will just go flat out for everything now, won't he? Well, you would think so, anyway.
We just had some issues with the Red, White, and Blue show that's supposed to be being recorded right now. So sorry if I was a little bit distracted.
Oh no! Go on, next one. Unless
next one.
You actually got something to say about it at the F.
Anyway, let's move on to some football. You got some football for us. Who is the best? Oh no, sorry, the results. I didn't even say the results. 46% yes, 54% no. So quite close.
So people thought he wouldn't retire just.
Yeah, just about, yeah.
Have you not got anything to say about Hamilton?
I do. I just annoyed. Moving on. Can you get you chatting about the next question, which I will try and jump straight back into, you guys. I'm really sorry. But who is the 56 votes on this poll, which is quite high. Who is the best player in the league currently? Which I'm sure will be a good hot topic. Psych, we all know the answer to this. Is it Mo Salah, Bernardo Silva, or Mason Mount, or other? Brackets comment. No one commented, but there was 2% votes on other.
Right.
So who do you think won it?
Salah won it, but I remember that Bernardo got a lot less votes than I thought he would get and thought he should get. I think Mount beat him. I was like, how did Mount beat? I'm not saying Mount's not played well, but like Bernardo has been, levels above Mount. Not saying he's like better than Salah, but he's the closest challenger to Salah for that sort of best player so far.
Yeah.
Like some of the goals and the performances that Bernardo has put in are fantastic. Like, don't get me wrong, Mount has played fantastic. Like, he's played some good.
I think with this poll though as well, it was kind of coming. This was put out about around the same time that Mount was like really, really in form for like 5-6 games.
Right.
So because I think it was about the 5th or 6th game in that period of time, so I can see why people did vote for it. Plus, we do have quite a large Chelsea fan base.
Yeah.
But
Bernardo, you can't. I mean, you can't. Like, he's had
a fantastic season.
If looking at like the whole first half of the season, Bernardo is just, he's like kicked on. Well, not kicked on, but he's just performing at that sort of that level, just that level above. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, he's had a fantastic season, and kind of really, really come into his own. But I mean, we can't really not talk about Mo Salah, who I think is probably both of our player of the season currently. He's just been probably better than ever. Would you say better than ever right now?
I mean,
stats wise, certainly.
Yeah, I mean, I even without the stats, his contribution to games, his contribution to the team, like goals, assists. He's I think he's top. Is he top of both?
Like, he's top of both assists and goals. He probably will still be top of both when he comes back from the
that's all you need to know, really, isn't it? So, like, I mean, some of the goals he scored as well are, unreal.
Oh, yeah.
And if he had performed like this all last year, Ballon d'Or, it's so not for him. So, but the thing is, because he's done it now, he needs to continue that for the rest of the year. Because if he does, Ballon d'Or is sewn up for him. If he doesn't, then obviously it becomes a bit more open. But if he keeps this up, then he
has to. I mean, I was surprised as to how high in terms of number wise he was. Like, as in, he should have been closer to 1 than he was.
Yeah. I mean, even last season when Liverpool weren't, quite at it, he was still putting in,
he was one of their main reasons. Just kind of, it's gonna be very interesting to see how Liverpool do now for 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks without Salah or Mane, who obviously we know without Salah, let's say like the person that they were playing instead of Salah had half of his assists or goals, they're probably nowhere near in the same position that they're in right now. Wow. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, yours is Mo Salah. I'm Mo Salah. 59% is Mo Salah. So quite rounded there. 13% Bernardo Silva. 27% Mason Mount.
That should be the other way around. I'm sorry. Like, I mean, like even you said, but like, obviously, like, don't get me wrong, he's played well and had that good, bit of form. But Bernardo, come on, it's like the goal against Watford and then the goal against Aston Villa,
and Chelsea.
And Chelsea.
Yeah, we're talking about Bernardo Silva, not Salah.
Yeah.
His goals,
Yeah, fantastic.
But then also Mount's goal against Watford. Like there's a few in there.
Yeah. But like Bernardo, I mean, but Salah, he's scored so many top goals, hasn't he? So a lot of them have been Messi-esque, and everyone knows how much of a Messi fan I am, so a fanboy. So
Yeah. Well, no red, white, and blue show tomorrow. Just to clarify.
Well, no.
We've had someone who's still asleep and someone whose mum's got COVID, so you have to have a PCR test. So that's decimated that within the last 20 minutes. Anyway, moving on to a landslide of votes. Actually, no, wait. I said the last one. 18 votes for this poll. And we're talking a landslide vote here. Who will finish the season as top scorer? Mo Salah, Diogo Jota, Jamie Vardy, or other? We had no comments on this one for other, so we had 0 votes for other.
Yeah, I mean, it's clearly Mo Salah, isn't it? You know,
Yeah.
you have to take a brave person to bet against Mo Salah coming top of goals and assists, even though he's out for a month as well at AFCON. Like, it'd take a brave man to bet against him. He's obviously currently top now as well, isn't he? So, yeah.
Well, 94% Mo Salah.
I mean, some of those get honourable mentions because they have played well and scored.
Yeah, Jota 0%.
Decent amount of goals, but
and Jamie Vardy was 6%. So
but
honourable for Jamie Vardy.
Yeah, they're just nowhere near Mo Salah's contributions at the moment, are they? So
no, they are not. I guess following on from Matt Vane as well, who will finish the season as top assister? Is it Mo Salah, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Gabriel Jesus, or other? There was someone who was voted for other.
Oh, okay.
Can you guess who it was?
Mason Mount.
Was it Mason Mount?
I'm not sure. Is it a City player or?
Nope. They got 13% of the votes technically, so they actually beat Gabriel Jesus.
Oh wow!
Which is a bit baffling because then I looked at his stats compared to Gabriel Jesus, and they're not great.
No, right. Who's he play for? Or does that give it away?
It probably gives it away. Leicester.
Oh, Maddison, is it? Maddison, yeah. I mean, don't think he's a good player, but I'm not like thought. I didn't think he was like up there with this in terms of stats, but
he's not. Put that very quickly. I looked at the time and it was like 3 assists, and I was like, huh? Okay. clearly just two. I think it was two. A Leicester fan put it in the comments, and a Leicester fan liked it. So I think it was just, 2 Leicester fans having fun.
Yeah.
But this only had 15 votes. Who do you think won it?
I mean, again, I'd be a brave man to bet against Salah, but it's probably the other one, isn't it?
No, I'm asking. I just genuinely.
I'll go for Salah. I'll go for Salah.
All right. Well, interestingly, with 52% of the votes was Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Yeah, no, people are, he's got cracking crossing, so he's going to do it. Yeah. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, it is fantastic and he'll get a lot of assists from it, but...
to be fair, he's having a cracking season this season compared to the last one, for sure.
Yeah, but, like, having good crossing doesn't, like, mean that he'll get top assister. He'll get a lot of assists.
I think he's up there. I think it's...
Oh, yeah.
I think he's definitely up there, but Salah's also, like, probably 4 or 5 more assists ahead of him, so...
At the moment, is he, right?
I'm guessing. I'll have a look, actually. I will have a look. Well, I guess I'll read out the stats right now, actually. So Salah's on 16 goals. Jota's on 10. Vardy's on 9. Antonio, Dennis, Rafinha, Ronaldo, Mane, Smith Rowe, Son on 8. Top assists is now Trent, actually. I'm completely wrong. Trent and Salah both on 9. Bowen, Jesus, Pogba on 7.
Right. So I mean, forget what I just said. I thought I didn't think they were that close. So yeah. Maybe he will. But like, don't get me wrong, he's obviously got fantastic delivery, good crossing, good passing, stuff like that. But when you got Salah in the team getting assists as well, then you can't for sure say that Trent will get it, but you might, but it'll be close anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be close, to be fair. Next up, I think we'll do with 40 votes. Who is the best manager in the Premier League? Is it Jurgen Klopp, Thomas Tuchel, or Pep Guardiola?
Pep Guardiola. I mean,
So yeah,
obviously, I'll say Pep Guardiola, but I reckon Klopp probably won because people they like to call Pep he just buys the players and buys the league, blah blah blah, and like Klopp is like rock and roll football sort of thing, don't they? So
rock and roll football.
yeah, but I mean, it's like it was like the thing that did you watch that Micah Richards and Roy Keane like Christmas drive thing that they did?
I haven't no.
All right, it's pretty good. They did it for the Euros as well, and Roy Keane said something, and it was like, yeah, I mean, obviously Pep, he gets called for like, he inherits good players, has the money to buy good players, got an expensive squad, but you still have to manage them. You still have to, find a way of playing, find a good, good tactics, good formation, good setup.
Yeah.
And big, be good at sort of managing those characters, which I thought was quite good in what he was saying. I didn't really expect him to say it, so that's
like no average Dick and Don can just walk into the City changing room and win as many games with that squad as Pep Guardiola.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, then that's obviously how I think about it. Obviously, I don't get me wrong, Tuchel and Klopp are both fantastic managers as well. But just because, I mean, and both have spent money, but just because Pep obviously has the backing at City, like doesn't mean.
I feel like your purchases have got smarter over the years with Pep. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, there's always sort of that smart recruitment, smart scouting, but with Pep, it's got even more targeted, if you know what I mean. Like they really know who they want with Pep because he is such a sort of specific manager.
And if you don't get the if you don't get the correct right back, you buy another one for the same price.
Exactly. Yeah.
God's sake. This one's not as relevant. But I mean, pretty recent game. It's quite a banging game as well. With 46 votes, was obviously Chelsea versus Liverpool, and we asked who was your man of the match in the Chelsea Liverpool game.
You didn't say who won that poll.
Oh yeah, who won the poll? Oh, yeah, I'm skipping ahead. Sorry, I'm getting excited.
You didn't give your take on it either.
I mean, I think the person who won deservedly won. For all the reasons you said, because you kind of hit the nail on the head. I think Tuchel has been phenomenal since coming in. Can't fault him.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, City are where they are, and obviously Pep has had a lot more time with the squads to build it as he wants it, and obviously Chelsea's not finished yet. We know that's not the finished product. So I can see why Pep has won it with 57.5% of the votes, and I wouldn't disagree with it. Tuchel got 27.5% of the votes, and Klopp got 15%. And I don't necessarily disagree with those comments too much because I feel like the impact Tuchel's had on Chelsea is so quick and so drastic compared to when Klopp or Pep took over.
Yeah.
Like if you were looking at the curves, like Liverpool were already slightly going up, and then they kind of just kept on going up. Obviously, there's a slight bit more of an exponential bit there because obviously they won the Champions League, but then a bit of a dip coming out like that. And then under Pep, just before you've been pretty high already. I mean, I know I've been watching the kickoff, and True Geordie's pretty convinced that the next 11 years is going to be. There might be other teams winning the Premier League, but City's always going to be up there. You've won trophies very recently, a bit like us, but you'd won trophies recently. Pep took over, and there's a bit faster of a curve than I'd say Klopp. Whereas Tuchel's is literally just boom. Literally straight upwards. Obviously, a bit of a flittering bit in January and stuff, but generally,
team. I think that, I mean, it's always there's different. They're all different scenarios and all different sort of situations because with Klopp he came in and the squad was just not there.
Yeah,
it just wasn't good enough. Pep came in, we had an aging squad, And then
Klopp's been quite lucky. I don't want to. This again, what I'm about to say could be he's a genius. He knows exactly what he's looking for, but the players he's signed have then just turned into world-class players.
Yeah,
but they haven't brought in someone like that for a while now. Is the only thing.
Yeah, I mean, they don't not needed to, but like I think that you would think. Well, one, he has to coach them himself, and two, you would think that's good recruitment. But like I say, they have obviously turned out like even better than maybe they even thought.
Yeah.
And that's sort of the plus in Klopp's book is that he is able to still do this with sort of he doesn't have the same funds that Chelsea and City have.
Do you remember the podcast you were on recently about the City podcast, where actually it turns out City have a smaller squad than Liverpool and Chelsea?
Yeah, that is. I mean, that table is it is true to an extent. I think obviously there was a very City orientated, but it is true to an extent. I think City is only missing maybe 2, maybe 3 youth players in that thing, so we'll still be short, have a smaller squad than Chelsea and Liverpool, but not as much as the table shows. But then I think the difference with Tuchel is obviously again like Pep, you still have to manage the players, you still have to find a way of playing, a formation, a setup. You have to manage those characters, but you had done that investment the summer before he came, so that allowed for that sort of exponential.
Yeah. Well, he came in with his very, very good tactics, and that was kind of the missing link in the whole team.
Yeah. So it's all different scenarios and situations.
And you also have to credit Pep as well for he's kind of changed football since being at City in terms of he won a Premier League, scoring more goals than anyone else in a season without a number 9. That has never happened before, and probably will be very difficult to replicate, even though you're on track to do it again.
It's a weird one because I think Pep is probably one of the few managers, maybe Tuchel and Klopp, if they were in that situation, would try it as well. But is one of the few managers who actually was like, yeah, whatever, we'll do it.
Well, we've had to play Pulisic, as a false 9. Yeah.
But like in terms of like you still got a striker in the bank in the club sort of thing. We've just gone. Well, Pep's just gone. Yeah, and I'll leave it until next summer. We'll just try it. We'll just try it. And I don't think, like I say, I think Tuchel and Klopp would try it if they were in that situation, but obviously not been in that situation yet. But Pep's one of the few that is just like, yeah, I'd rather have a striker, but yeah, we'll run with this. Like, and you're like, what? Like, so, yeah. No, it's and that, like, I mean, that's not anyone's fault. Not Pep's, not thingy. Like, that's just the way it is. And luckily, well, I don't know, luckily, but thankfully, we are still doing well without a striker. So
so happy about
that.
Well, let's move on to our next Twitter vote with 46 votes, which as I was about to say before I realised I hadn't even spoken about the last Twitter poll and all that kind of stuff. Who was your man of the match at the Chelsea v Liverpool game? And I put down Kovacic, Mane, who shouldn't have been on the pitch, and Hilaire, and other, but no one actually commented other. So they did get 9% of the votes, but no one felt confident enough to put their word out there. I think he won this. It was absolutely deserved. Did you watch the game, didn't you?
No.
Oh, you didn't watch the game?
No. I was working.
Jeez.
It was one of the 2 days a week that I work, and I was working for it.
Shocking behaviour. Well, yeah, Mateo Kovacic deservedly got man of the match and deservedly won our Twitter poll as well, I think. Quite heftily as well. He was great. I think Kante, if it was Kante who'd scored a goal, it would have been Kante winning the man of the match. It was that both of them were just that good in that game. And I thought we were really, really good. And then we kind of continued it against Spurs, even with 5 changes. It didn't make a difference. The intensity was still there, which was fantastic. And we're scoring goals in the first half, which is baffling.
I I mean, I like say I'd not realized that. Like, I'm
Yeah,
so
no, we hardly score goals in the first half, and now we've scored 4 in the last 2
right,
games in the first half, which is
nice.
baffling. Because I know I must have spoken about how, like, when I'm watching Chelsea, and we always have a really dominant first half, right? And then I always know, like with the Everton game, and I guess against the Leeds game, we got lucky, we got a penalty at the end, but we'll dominate the first half and we just won't score.
Yeah.
And then it gets to the second half, and then it's squeaky bum time because we maybe get 1 goal, but then they could bring it back, and obviously we need to win the game, and it's just,
Where have I seen this before?
was it City last season or 2 seasons ago by any chance?
City, yeah, City. Like City, whenever they lose a game, basically.
Yeah, it's the same with Chelsea. We haven't really been battered yet this season, apart from against. No, we haven't really been battered by anyone. I think we haven't lost by more than 1 goal. I think.
I think we won 1-0, didn't we? And it was
It's only ever been 1 goal.
It was convincing, but it was only 1 goal. So.
Yeah, so it's only ever been 1 goal, and yeah, that's good for us. But yeah, we play Chesterfield tomorrow. Can't wait to watch the youth players.
Yeah. Oh well, I mean, we're playing a full youth side, I think, against Swindon tonight. So
because you've got COVID.
So I mean, technically, like that, the isolation period should end a couple of days before the Chelsea match, I think.
Yeah, socialise with Kante and Silva. So fingers crossed.
We'll have a couple of days training, hopefully. But I mean, unless more cases get found in the next few days, then it should be on. But
no, we had so many cases didn't get off. Chelsea fans will kick off if you manage to get that game.
It's one rule for Chelsea and a different rule for everyone else. You see?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's why now you've had a game cancelled. I swear we're the only team to.
Which game did we get cancelled?
Huh?
Which game did we get cancelled?
I swear you've had a game, or you've played 1 less game because of Carabao Cup, innit?
Yeah, I think
we've got 2 less games. 2 less games.
Yeah, we've not had a game cancelled yet because we've not had a COVID outbreak until now.
I was saying, have you had a game cancelled against like the opposing team cancelled?
Well, the opposing team cancelled on us. I don't think so because I can't recall any fixtures that have like been rearranged for us.
Yeah, so. Fair enough. So yeah, I mean, you haven't had COVID, so there's no reason to change it. And I think you should just play the game.
Yeah, well, it's one of those ones. It's swings and roundabouts, you see.
Yeah, exactly. Did you watch the highlights for the Liverpool game? Chelsea.
Yeah. Like Kovacic's goal,
cracking goal from.
It's cracking goal. The technique, because he's running backwards as well. The technique for that is fantastic. And then, I mean, Salah's goal was.
Salah's goal was filthy. Yeah. I mean, also it was shocking defending from Alonso because he's just clearly too slow.
Yeah.
Clearly, all it took was 1 body fake, and he was like 5 yards behind.
Yeah, he was running treacle, as they say.
Yes, he was running in treacle. Well, we're hopefully going to sign Luca Dean or Dest, so that should hopefully fix that problem.
Yeah, I mean, Luca Dean's the links with
Newcastle,
is it?
But apparently, it's come out from, I think it was Romano or someone else.
Doesn't want Newcastle, does he?
Yeah, he doesn't want to risk going down to the Championship.
Yeah, and I think you were sort of sniffing around Trippier before you went to Newcastle, weren't you, as well? Sort of half.
I don't think we were necessarily sniffing around him. I think it was just we realised we needed a right wing back. He's also a right wing back.
Yeah, you're half.
Chelsea are now linked to him. That kind of thing. I don't know. I mean, apparently we could get Dest for £16 million, which I think would be massive. 16 mil for Dest is, at this day and age, and his age and his like. Yeah,
I mean, the Barca are desperate to get players off the books, aren't they? So, the nice little bit of business.
That could not be bad for us, yeah. But yeah, Kovacic at 65% of the votes. Understandably, Mane with 7%, but it should be minus 100. Calais for 20%, and then I'm for other.
It's
you've seen the You've seen the foul. Is it a red card?
Yeah. It's a difficult one because, I mean, if it was against my team, I'd be like, Stonewall red, you know. So I think there's a little bit of that in it, but
when you've got match of the day too,
but,
Shearer and Jesus both saying afterwards.
Yeah, so this is the thing, like the way his movement, like I watched the Gary Neville podcast, and he said he didn't think it was because he was saying when he jumps up like that, it was sort of his arms were sort of like this, but he didn't go like that sort of thing. So that's what he was saying.
His right arm's down there, his left arm's down there. He's jumping into him. Just because he doesn't swing it doesn't mean that he's not intentionally going to hit him in the face.
Yeah, but like on the camera, does it look like there's intention there when he's not doing that?
That's probably why he didn't get the red. But I mean, we all know there was definitely intention.
So this is the thing. Without that, that's like, so he was saying that's not definitive proof because there's no action. So Mane's been very clever there. That's what I think. Because I think it was deliberate, but he's been clever about it because he's not done anything overtly deliberate in the action. So when they go to the VAR, they can't point to something and say, "There you go. There's where he's done it deliberately." So that, you know, there's technicalities to it. I think it was, but that's probably why it wasn't given. So you know, the dark arts of football, isn't it? But like,
you got to be smart nowadays with VAR. And speaking of VAR, our next Twitter poll, which I didn't write down how many people voted on. Give me 1 second. It's on VAR.
Is VAR working?
VAR working?
Although I did another Gary Neville thing when he was talking about the Mane elbow, which I think. But the thing, I think it's a weird one, really, isn't it? Because if they'd given a red, they wouldn't have overturned it. So it's like, well, what? Like, there seems to be a bit of a grey area where, like, so refs are now scared to give reds because, like, if they give it wrong, then you know.
Yeah, but that's what I feel like. If it's not a red and you give a red, then VAR will overturn it. No harm done. Right?
Yeah. I
don't know. Well, yeah, as we said, 20 votes on this. Is VAR working in the Premier League? Yes or no? Can you guess what the answer was?
No.
I'll read out the percentages quickly because also we got some comments on here as well.
Right.
25% yes, 75% no. We got some interesting comments I'll read out and then we'll have a chat about it. At MCFC Sam04 says, think they need ref mics like in rugby. In rugby, I feel I often disagree at first, but 95% of the time, once I've heard the ref's explanation, I agree with them.
Yeah, I mean, so
we've spoken about this.
Yeah, so this is Gary Neville said in another one of it. I don't know if it's the same one in his podcast. He was like, he actually thinks that VAR is working and is improving. He said it's not perfect, but he think it is because obviously, from a fan point of view, when you see a decision against it, you automatically go, that's wrong. That's not why has he done that then? But like that guy is saying, he as a fan, 95% of the time disagrees with it because it's against his team. But when he gets the explanation, he's like, okay. Right.
Yeah, which is, I mean, I've definitely spoken about that with rugby as well. Yeah. Like it's the amount of times that when I'm watching rugby and there's a decision, and I'm not even 100% sure that the decision is correct or whatever, and then they have the TMO, you can see the team, what they're seeing as well on the screen, which is, I think, also a massive thing to help with fans, and you can hear the ref.
Yeah.
So you're involved in the whole dialogue, and 95% of the time, he will get the decision correct, and we move on.
Yeah,
you don't hear about the massive controversies with TMO in rugby because there aren't any.
Yeah, and so
they're rarer.
This is what you want. You want transparency, and you want you want to see the reasons behind it because obviously at the moment it's sort of this like weird, mysterious sort of grey area.
You're kind of getting what the commentators get told by VAR. He probably VAR told someone who then told someone who then told the commentators.
Yeah, it's all a bit weird. But yeah, he was saying that he thinks that like it is is working and starting to improve. So like the decisions in the City Arsenal match, which I know have caused a lot of controversy, but like, and I mean, I've not really like looked at it or like
That was a big. I remember that was a big flop after that game.
giving it like any sort of I'm not really sort of thought about it since. But so I've just seen it in passing and stuff. And I was watching it with my dad on Match of the Day, and if there was transparency with those decisions, none of that controversy would happen because when they were reviewing their penalty shout, they quite clearly the camera angles all they had, it was inconclusive. So that's why they didn't give it, because they're giving it with those inconclusive angles. Then
and like you could see with the like one angle, Edison clearly didn't get the ball. Another angle, Edison clearly did get the ball.
Yeah.
So it was so.
So it's
if you had like exactly as you say, if you had the guy on the microphone saying one angle you can see Edison gets the ball, one angle can't get the ball, it's too inconclusive for us to give a decision, stick with on the field.
Yeah, exactly.
There'd still be people who are annoyed with the decision.
Yeah.
Granted, but at least like 75% of those people will then be reduced.
Yeah, exactly, and it's and that's so that when they're talking about clear and obvious, that's when it's not clear and obvious on the video, that's what they're talking about. So when people are like, we don't really know what clear and obvious means, which we actually don't at the moment. Well, we do, but the way they interpret it and get it across is completely wrong, because they're like, oh, the on-field thing, if that's not clear and obvious, but that's not what it's talking about. It's talking about the actual footage.
Yeah,
that's what they should say.
They should really make that clear.
Yeah, but obviously the penalty for City, yeah.
Well, I think the thing with that one, we'll move on to the next comment in a second. But the thing with that one was the ref was told to go check that one,
yeah,
not told to go check the other one.
Yeah. But then, so that's
and they both were pretty much the same in terms of camera angles. So the silver one was definitely softer than the one. But again, if we knew what was happening in the conversation, that could
So what they should have done is they should have gone to look at both, and then there should have been that transparency and the communicate. Like we should hear the communication, so we can see it, and then they get the clear and obvious. Because in the City penalty, there was it was clear in the footage that he grabbed his shirt
and also kicked him.
And so like if they just had the transparency and had shared the conversation, it'd be so much better. But that's enough about that.
Next we've got at Chelsea FC Sky. I think they need multiple people reviewing and consequences if they do the wrong decision, because they know they don't have anything to lose by being crap at their job. I think that one's less likely to happen or make a difference.
It's a bit harsh, because obviously that's like comparing it to, say, me at my job. If I like, undervalue something by £1 and they go, you got that wrong, you're off. Like, it's a bit harsh, but I get what they mean, as in like there should be sort of, I mean, like you said,
maybe strikes. There could be strikes, maybe. And then it would be so hard to do. And I think also with that, you have also got to realise that I have a feeling the people in the VAR box and the refs get a lot of online abuse.
Oh yeah.
After these decisions, which I probably would say is punishment enough.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be that guy who didn't give a penalty in the FA Cup final or something, and it was clearly a penalty. You don't want to be that guy anyway. So I doubt this is necessary.
I don't think it will make a difference. I do get what they mean, like sort of in terms of maybe a punishment as such as like they just take them off it for the next game, and then the next game back in, like maybe something like that, just very, very minimal. It like just but like in terms of like a strict punishment, it won't make a difference anyway. And like it's harsh, and
if anything, it'd make them too scared to do anything.
Yeah, the same people who are doing it anyway, so it'll affect future matches. So it's a bit.
it's a tough one. Anyway, next up we got Andrew McLeaf 7, my padre. He said it's not VAR, it's the inconsistency of its use. There are some easy fixes. Being offside because you lean forwards when you run is ridiculous. Kane's yellow v LFC and offside v Southampton, both very poor decisions. Seems strange when both were so clear to every armchair fan.
Yeah,
he's not wrong.
The first bit about VAR, like, well, I'll rephrase that. The second part about the offsides and stuff is exactly what my dad says. It's like, he's like 2 centimeters offside. What? Well, that's not offside. It's not offside. I'm like, yeah, I know, Dad, but we can't do anything.
Yeah, I think with that one, it could be. I feel like it would be make the games more interesting if it's you go from the feet. If it's the furthest foot bit from both people, like so. I don't know. It's hard to do because obviously you do it from.
Yeah, my dad always says it should be daylight between them, which you'll still get. You'll still get sometimes where they're close, like so you'll still get that thing where they're trying to see if there's daylight between them. But the circumstances when that happens, it'll be a lot obvious when there's no daylight and when there is daylight. So there'll be a lot less circumstances where that happens. There still will be circumstances where they have to look at it, but I think having daylight between would work.
Yeah, but the thing is, the thing with daylight is, I think the reason why I think offsides get a lot less scrutiny than other offsides, than other decisions by VAR, is because it generally is. This is what it is.
Yeah, well, there's a definite yes.
You can't really cock it up too much.
Well, the thing, the technology that they currently have isn't good enough.
Oh yeah, true as well.
It doesn't it doesn't work. It does work to an extent, but it's wrong. Like, why can't they just they have cameras to triangulate the positions of the players?
Well, they literally have the cameras on strings above the pitches, right?
Yeah.
Why not have 2 going up and down?
Yeah, exactly. But instead they get the footage of on an angle, and then if they draw the lines, and it's like quite. There's a lot of margin for error.
But then again, that would also then just completely invalidate linesmen.
Yeah, well, bin them off.
Which we all know the refereeing association are all about each other, so I doubt that will happen.
Yeah, bin it. Nah, it's just it's ridiculous as well because you get these circumstances where they're quite, they're onside and then the line they draw it to the edge of the sleeve, and then other times they draw it to
some would be to the armpit.
Yeah, so it's like so many inconsistencies.
Yeah, and also follow the first bit as well. I think kind of follows on from the first comment about having mics. It's the inconsistency of it, and also if it would seem less inconsistent if we knew what their decision making was.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of these things. I feel like they're all technically different points, but they're all part of the same.
We solved if there was transparency and we could hear the communication, basically. Yeah.
It's not even solved. It will just.
Maybe not. It wouldn't solve it, but it would help a lot more with sort of the controversy and fan reaction.
And also, it would help with the rules and stuff. If every fan knew the rules and that would come out with it's like with rugby. I know the rules pretty much dead on because when I watch rugby, the rules are followed to a T, and you can always hear when it's happened that they're followed to a T. Whereas in football, there's slightly more grey areas. I think in football, just a little bit, but not by much, and yet there's still this stark contrast in refereeing decisions.
Yeah,
the grey area, there's a bit more grey area in football, but nowhere near the difference that there is with the refereeing decisions between the two sports.
Yeah.
Next up we got Yank Talking Smack, which is Conor, who is the one that didn't turn up to the red, white, blue show. There needs to be a ref mics and punishments for refs, VAR that get it wrong on obvious calls. Can't continue to let refs get away with everything and never explaining their actions, which is, I guess, just a continuation of the last one.
What we already said about the punishment is not really making a difference, but yeah.
The rest of that comment I agree with. Yeah.
I mean, obviously there are the refs that do think the center of the match and the bee's knees, you get people like that everywhere.
That is true. We'll do two more Twitter polls before we wrap it up. The big one, the one that we've all been talking about. 10 votes. Who should we do Tottenham predictions? Yes or no? What did you vote, Ben?
I don't think I did on this one, did I? I can't remember.
Well, I voted no, and it was actually exactly 50%.
Oof, inconclusive.
So, TMO, inconclusive. It's a no. No one wants us to, like majority-wise.
50%.
No, majority-wise, no one wants us to. So why not? Maybe we'll probably do one again in the future, but I think for now, like, if it was
I reckon we'll probably start doing that like next season or something.
Yeah. We can do this poll again in the future and see if anyone else is more interested. But clearly, there's not an overriding want to do Spurs votes.
We're getting 3 Spurs fixtures this week.
Exactly. Yeah, you're getting 3 Spurs ones this month anyway.
Well, we'll probably do it next season when give us something.
It's not exactly like anyone's complaining about Spurs not being part of our. So
it'll give us something new to do next season.
We'll do it next season. Maybe by then we'll have a Spurs fan. Hopefully not. Then, last but not least, with 71 votes, which is our biggest one, who will win the Carabao Cup? Between Chelsea, Spurs, Liverpool, and Arsenal. And we had a comment from Football For You about Liverpool.
I think I voted Chelsea, but I think Chelsea are quite they're quite far ahead in that vote, aren't they? But I think it's a combination of sort of that you're beating Spurs quite recently, and
a good performance against Liverpool,
putting a good performance, and Liverpool and Arsenal didn't play, so they kind of don't really know.
There's one team that came second in the votes, which I think was surprisingly high, but might be because of recent form and the fact that they'll be playing Liverpool whilst they haven't got Salah and Mane.
There is that.
So at Football For You also did comment, depends what kind of team Liverpool can field due to COVID cases. I reckon if they're fully fit, I back them.
Yeah, I mean, obviously if they had Salah and Mane and they were playing, they
will play in the final if they make it.
Yeah.
If they make it, I think.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you'd fancy them then. Well, not fancy them, but you think it'll be quite a lot, very equal between them and Chelsea.
There is also a chance they could be back, but obviously it depends with isolating and stuff for the second leg of the tie because obviously the postponement. There is a chance, but I think it's not likely. I've obviously voted Spurs, Chelsea as well. I think we've got a really good chance of winning this. I don't particularly want to face either of the two teams that will, if we beat Spurs again in the final. Both good teams, Arsenal especially in form, so it will be tough either way. But I think we've got the depth and the manpower to do it.
Yeah.
So 49% Chelsea, 8% Spurs, 18% Liverpool, and 24% Arsenal. So clearly, a few Arsenal fans out there in the 71 that votes. And this is also our biggest poll yet, which is nice to be, finished up today, and also our biggest poll. So just in time for the Twitter predictions.
It's
podcast.
It's unfortunate for Spurs, but they are sort of they're on that sort of journey with Conte, and they will be a threat once they get going with Conte, but they're not quite got going yet, have they? So.
No. But we still have 7 polls, which we will obviously get to. I'm sure we'll do another one of these Twitter polls. Number 2. As I said before, me and Ben have been enjoying, well, especially Ben, I think, enjoying making these. They've been a bit creative, bit of fun. And just make sure you do check us out at Blue Podcast One on Twitter, because we are pretty much doing a poll every day right now because I'm on holiday, technically, even though I'm revising like crazy. So I And also Ben's been fantastic and made so many polls for me to choose from every day.
Yeah.
So you know, it's been good. But yeah, I hope you guys did like the video. Let us know your opinions down below. Don't know why that word evaded me there for a second, but yeah, make sure you let us know in the comments below your opinions on all these polls. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and obviously will help us to know that you guys want another video like this. Subscribe if you're new around here. Check out our merch. We've got brand new hoodies, haven't we, Ben?
Oh yeah,
Let's mention those. We got some cool new hoodies.
Yeah.
Which I'm talking like we got a graphic designer in this kind of cool hoodies. So
yeah, very nice, very nice.
So yeah, make sure you check those out. Obviously, top link in the description is our merch, and everyone's socials are below as well. It's a long list, but yeah, we shall see you maybe on Sunday for a purple show. I'm not promising anything because I just promised you there was a red, white, and blue show tomorrow. There's not, so I'm not promising anything, but it could be a purple show on Sunday if everything goes smoothly. Yeah, see you guys maybe on Sunday.